If I am fortunate enough to meet the great sage Sun in the future, my life will not have been in vain. Duan Ling Tian sighed. The great sage equal to heaven, Sun Wukong, was undoubtedly the most deeply ingrained character in the ancient myths and legends of his previous life. There may be a chance in the future, Old Hua said. But as you are now, you are too far from that level. Don't think too much, just focus on cultivating. After Old Hua finished speaking, he fell silent, returning to repair the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. Duan Ling Tian nodded. He shrank the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda again until it was the size of a baby's fingernail, then casually tucked it into his ear, securing it inside. This way, no matter how he moved, the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda would not fall out. Stepping out of his room, Duan Ling Tian saw the two young girls chatting together. When they saw Duan Ling Tian emerge, both their eyes lit up. Bad guy, when you came back just now, you rushed back to your room in such a hurry. Did you have some enlightenment or a breakthrough in your strength? Li Fei asked curiously. Yes, Duan Ling Tian said with a smile, not mentioning the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda for now. It was simply too unbelievable for the two girls. He would let them understand it slowly later. Young master, have you broken through to the 7th level of the Martial Emperor stage? Kuer's exquisite face showed an intense look of admiration. Yes, Duan Ling Tian nodded again. He didn't say he had broken through to the 9th level of the Martial Emperor stage. If he had, he didn't know how much it would scare the two girls. After spending half a day with the two girls, Duan Ling Tian parted ways with them. I'm going to find the 3 Vice Island Masters of Half Moon Island. As soon as he finished speaking, he set off. Coincidentally, the 3 Vice Island Masters of Half Moon Island were gathered together at that moment. 3 Vice Island Masters. As soon as Duan Ling Tian appeared, he greeted the 3 of them proactively. Island Master. The 3 Vice Island Masters, including Xiao Kuan, were inwardly unwilling to accept Duan Ling Tian as the new master of Half Moon Island. However, bound by their oath, they dared not ignore him. Nevertheless, when they addressed Duan Ling Tian, the new island master of Half Moon Island, they omitted the word sir. For instance, they used to address Di Yong as Island Master Sir, showing immense respect. Humph, Duan Ling Tian snorted, his sharp gaze falling upon the 3 of them as he said in a deep voice, "It seems the 3 of you don't really regard me as your new island master." Facing the angered Duan Ling Tian, the 3 of them simply ignored him. I'll give you an opportunity. The 3 of you, join forces and fight me. If you can withstand 3 of my moves without being defeated, I will voluntarily relinquish the position of Half Moon Island Master, Duan Ling Tian declared. This way, you won't be breaking your oath. Xiao Kuan and the other 2 hadn't expected Duan Ling Tian to say such a thing. They were all somewhat surprised, and a glimmer of hope flickered deep within their eyes. If possible, they naturally didn't want to be subservient to Duan Ling Tian. But if you lose, I expect you to respect me as much as you respected Di Yong, Duan Ling Tian said coldly. Agreed. Xiao Kuan and the other 2 didn't hesitate, immediately accepting the challenge. In their eyes, Duan Ling Tian was simply a newborn calf not afraid of tigers. Defeating them in 3 moves? It was simply a pipe dream. They had some understanding of Duan Ling Tian's strength. Although he was good, he was still a long way from their level. To defeat them with 3 moves was simply impossible. Humph. Seeing Xiao Kuan and the other 2 agree, Duan Ling Tian let out a low grunt. With a raise of his hand, a royal grade spirit weapon bow appeared. He held the bow in one hand and an arrow in the other. The moment the bowstring appeared, Duan Ling Tian drew the bow and knocked an arrow, pulling the string to a full moon, then released the arrow in his hand. Whoosh! Immediately, the arrow shot through the air like a black lightning bolt. Body follows the arrow. At the same time, Duan Ling Tian took a large stride, lightly landing on the black lightning bolt, moving with it. His speed grew faster and faster, eventually turning into a series of afterimages before Xiao Kuan and the other 2. At this point, the expressions of Xiao Kuan and the other 2 also became solemn. Putting everything else aside, the speed Duan Ling Tian was currently displaying was already on par with theirs. However, they still didn't believe Duan Ling Tian could defeat them. Looking at the speed Duan Ling Tian was currently demonstrating, his strength was, at most, equivalent to any one of them. It was almost impossible to defeat their combined forces, let alone defeat them in 3 moves. Go! After exchanging glances, the 3 of them moved in unison, at a speed no less than Duan Ling Tian's body follows the arrow technique, splitting into 3 directions to form an encirclement and sweep towards Duan Ling Tian. This is a good chance to test how strong my current body is. Facing the formidable trio, Duan Ling Tian's expression remained unchanged. A faint, 5-colored light barrier slowly emerged around his body, protecting him within. If one looked closely, they would notice that this 5-colored light barrier was formed by countless rapidly moving 5-colored divine dragons. 9 dragons' body protection. What Duan Ling Tian was currently employing was the heaven-grade high-level defensive martial skill included in the 9 dragons' battle sovereign art. After the 5-colored light barrier rose, Duan Ling Tian stopped moving. The arrow beneath his feet also returned to his hand, seeking death. Seeing Duan Ling Tian stop and raise a defensive light barrier, intending to withstand their attacks head-on, Xiao Kuan and the other 2 couldn't help but sneer inwardly. Their actions didn't slow down in the slightest as they shot forward like lightning. Boom, 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 boom. 3 lightning-fast figures swept towards Duan Ling Tian from 3 directions. They used either fists or palms, and as they struck out, they invariably stirred up bursts of thunderous air explosions. In the blink of an eye, their fists and palms landed on the 5-colored light barrier around Duan Ling Tian's body. Bang, 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 bang. As a series of loud bangs echoed, emitting rolling shockwaves, the 5-colored light barrier shattered. At the same time, Xiao Kuan and the other 2's attacks landed on Duan Ling Tian's body. Bang, bang, bang. 2 fists and 1 palm landed on Duan Ling Tian's body, making 3 dull thuds. Duan Ling Tian, on the other hand, remained expressionless and composed. Is this a body even stronger than a 5-clawed divine dragon's? All 3 of them are at the peak of the Martial Emperor stage. Without spirit weapons, their fist and palm attacks, after being partially offset by my defensive martial skill, felt like mere tickles when they landed on my body. Duan Ling Tian's heart trembled as he realized how terrifying the changes in his body were. Duan Ling Tian was well aware of his current strength. His speed was on par with Xiao Kuan and the other 2 because he had unleashed the movement technique. Body follows the arrow from the Saint-grade martial art, Great Evolution Falling Star Arrow. Body follows the arrow had already reached the initial glimpse of the path realm. As for his defense, since he hadn't used the defensive moves from Saint-grade martial arts, logically, it shouldn't have been able to block Xiao Kuan and the other 2's attacks. Yet, it had blocked them. All of this was simply because his body's inherent defense was incredibly strong. His body was no longer comparable to that of an ordinary human martial emperor. It had undergone metamorphosis with the help of the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda. According to Old Hua, his current body was even stronger than a 5-clawed divine dragon. One must know that the strength of a 5-clawed divine dragon's body was famous even in the Dao Martial Saint Land. In the entire Dao Martial Saint Land, those who could rival a 5-clawed divine dragon in physical strength were few and far between. How is this possible? Xiao Kuan and the other 2's expressions changed drastically when they realized their attacks had been withstood by Duan Ling Tian's body. They looked at Duan Ling Tian as if they had seen a ghost. Although their attacks had been partially offset, the power contained within them was still extremely terrifying. They had initially thought that even if Duan Ling Tian didn't die, he would be severely injured. However, the outcome completely defied their expectations. Duan Ling Tian was completely unharmed. Is this even a human being? Can a human body be this monstrous? Now, it's my turn, Duan Ling Tian said calmly, his voice flat, yet it startled Xiao Kuan and the other 2, causing their expressions to change. When they recovered, they found that Duan Ling Tian had already shot an arrow like lightning, and he himself was moving with the arrow, sweeping towards the distance in an instant. Seeing this, they breathed a sigh of relief. However, they soon saw, as Duan Ling Tian swept to one side, he suddenly turned around, his eyes fixed on them becoming incredibly sharp, and at the same time, he raised the bow and arrow in his hand. Oh no! Immediately, the 3 men's faces changed drastically, and they hastily took out their respective spirit weapons. They knew Duan Ling Tian was about to counterattack. First move, their spirit weapons had just come into their hands, and they hadn't even had time to scatter and dodge when Duan Ling Tian's calm voice rang out again, reaching their ears and sending shivers down their spines. Falling Star Strike. At the same time, The arrow in Duan Ling Tian's hand flew out, its speed so fast that Xiao Kuan and the other two couldn't react at all. Uft, uft. Two streaks of dazzling blood splattered as Xiao Kuan and another Vice Island master of Half Moon Island had their shoulders pierced, leaving behind two hideous blood holes that continuously gushed blood. Just one arrow, injuring two people. The two injured men exchanged glances, a bitter smile on their lips. They knew in their hearts, this was already the opponent holding back. Otherwise, that arrow just now would have pierced their chests, not their shoulders. Second move. Just as the last Vice Island master of Half Moon Island reacted and swiftly fled, Duan Ling Tian spoke again, and the arrow in his hand shot out accordingly. Falling Star Strike. If it could injure two people with one arrow, injuring one person was even easier. In the blink of an eye, the shoulder of the last Vice Island master of Half Moon Island was also pierced. Two moves, defeating three people. Relying on the movement technique, which had been cultivated to the first realm of Saint-grade martial arts. Initial glimpse of the path. Duan Ling Tian's speed was on par with Xiao Kuan and the other two. With his powerful body, Duan Ling Tian could withstand Xiao Kuan and the other two's attacks head-on. With his offensive moves, which had been cultivated to the second realm of Saint-grade martial arts, minor accomplishment, Duan Ling Tian's attacks were simply irresistible to Xiao Kuan and the other two. Island Master, sir. At this moment, while Xiao Kuan and the other two were filled with shock, they were also completely convinced and sincerely regarded Duan Ling Tian as the new Island Master of Half Moon Island. They had, from the bottom of their hearts, acknowledged Duan Ling Tian. I have something I need you to handle. Duan Ling Tian spoke unhurriedly, instructing Xiao Kuan and the other two to send people to search for the materials needed to repair the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. Besides utilizing the power of our Half Moon Island, we must also utilize the power of the other three overseas holy islands. I will be taking a long trip soon. Among the other three overseas holy islands, I will personally notify Mist Concealment Island. As for the remaining two overseas holy islands, I leave them to you. Duan Ling Tian's words carried an undeniable tone. As soon as he finished speaking, he left, leaving only his silhouette behind for Xiao Kuan and the two others. Our Half Moon Island's new island master is terrifying. Xiao Kuan gasped sharply. Indeed, how long has it been? His strength has completely surpassed ours. I suspect he isn't human at all. If he were human, how could his body possibly withstand the strike from the three of us just now? The other two Vice Island masters also gasped sharply. Thinking back to the scene just now, they felt an inexplicable shock deep in their hearts. As Duan Ling Tian left, countless thoughts swirled in his mind. Currently, my cultivation has made a breakthrough to the 9th level Martial Emperor realm. But because the profound truths I have comprehended are lacking, purely in terms of origin energy and profound truths, I am far inferior to Xiao Kuan and the two others. However, I cultivated the Saint-grade martial arts, the Taiyan Meteor Arrow. The movement move within the Taiyan Meteor Arrow, which I have cultivated to the initial glimpse stage, has compensated for the gap in speed between us, allowing my speed to match theirs. Furthermore, with my current physique, as long as they don't use spiritual artifacts, I can completely withstand their attacks. Of course, this is also because they haven't cultivated Saint-grade martial arts. If they had cultivated Saint-grade martial arts and used the offensive moves within them, my body definitely wouldn't be able to handle it. Among the Taiyan Meteor Arrow techniques, the Meteor Strike is the offensive move I cultivated earliest and currently has the highest realm. Relying on it, my attack power far surpasses that of Xiao Kuan and the two others. The battle just now gave Duan Ling Tian a deeper understanding of his own strength. The most pressing matter is raising the level of my two profound truths. I heard Xuanai say that martial artists on the Yunxiao continent, if they want to break through to the transcendent realm, must first comprehend one type of Emperor Realm profundity to the 9th level. At that time, using the 9th level Emperor Realm profundity as a medium, all profound truths are integrated into the body, using them as assistants to open the sacred meridian. Once the sacred meridian is opened, it also signifies a breakthrough to the early stage of mortal shedding realm. Any 9th level Martial Emperor Realm expert who has comprehended a 9th level Emperor Realm profundity is referred to as a peak Martial Emperor Realm expert, such as the three Vice Island Masters of Half Moon Island. and the great island masters of the 3 major overseas holy islands are also experts of this level. Returning to the manor, Duan Lingtian learned that Han Shuanai was in closed-door cultivation. According to the little fellows, Han Shuanai was attempting to break through to the transcendent realm. All of you, prepare yourselves. Once your sister Shuanai comes out of seclusion, we will return to the Yunshao continent. Duan Lingtian said to Little Black, Little White, and Little Gold. Hearing this, the 3 little fellows' eyes lit up. They had long wanted to leave this wretched place. On the Yunshao continent, apart from the experts of the 2 great ancient clans, they rarely encountered beings stronger than themselves. Therefore, they were in their element on the Yunshao continent and could do as they pleased. However, upon arriving at Half Moon Island, they realized that on this tiny island, there were countless people stronger than them. For the next period of time, Duan Lingtian spent his time quietly comprehending the fusion profundity and the sword profundity, except for the time he spent accompanying the 2 little girls. Soon, Duan Lingtian discovered something that shocked him. He found that his speed in comprehending both the fusion profundity and the sword profundity was terrifyingly fast now. It only took him 10 days for his fusion profundity and sword profundity to break through. After another 20 days, both profound truths broke through again. Elder Hua, do you know what's going on? Duan Lingtian couldn't help but ask Elder Hua, always feeling that this matter was related to his body undergoing a second metamorphosis. Elder Hua's reply was exactly as he had guessed. His body, having undergone a second metamorphosis, not only surpassed the 5-clawed divine dragon in physical strength, but his sensory perception was also far greater than before, incomparable to that of ordinary people. According to the Yunshao continent's explanation, the speed of comprehending profound truths depends on the level of one's comprehension ability. In reality, it depends on each person's sensory perception. Those with strong sensory perception comprehend profound truths quickly. Conversely, those with weak perception are slow. This is also why Di Yong, the former island master of Half Moon Island, was able to break through to the transcendent realm so quickly, even without enjoying the dragon clan's cultivation resources. As a 5-clawed demonic dragon, a top-tier 5-clawed divine dragon, his sensory perception was terrifying due to his powerful physique. And now, Duan Lingtian's body is even stronger than his. His sensory perception is naturally even more terrifying. When Han Shuanai came out of seclusion, Duan Lingtian's sword profundity had advanced further, reaching the 8th level Emperor Realm sword profundity. Shuanai, you broke through? Looking at Han Shuanai, whose charming face had shed some of its childishness and whose temperament had undergone a great change, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. Han Shuanai nodded with a smile. How many sacred meridians did you open? Duan Lingtian asked curiously. 10, Han Shuanai replied, and as soon as she finished speaking, the smile on her face deepened. In the early stage of mortal shedding realm, she opened 10 sacred meridians. Such talent is considered outstanding, even within the Dao martial Holy Land. It should be known that for martial cultivators and Dao cultivators in the transcendent realm, the more they cultivate, the more sacred meridians they open. Han Shuanai opened 10 sacred meridians while still in the early stage of mortal shedding realm. In her subsequent 4 breakthroughs, she will open more sacred meridians at each level than the last. By the mid-stage transcendent realm, she will open at least 11 more sacred meridians. By the late profound level, she will open at least 12 more sacred meridians, and so on. When Han Shuanai breaks through to the great perfection of the mortal transformation realm, she will open at least 60 sacred meridians. 60 is still a conservative estimate. For martial cultivators and Dao cultivators in the Dao martial Holy Land, anyone who opens 50 or more sacred meridians is bound to break through to the Saint Realm sooner or later, provided they don't die prematurely or encounter accidents. Because of this, Han Shuanai was very satisfied and happy. It must be known, although she is a native inhabitant of the Dao martial Holy Land, she did not cultivate according to the cultivation methods of the Dao martial Holy Land natives. Her cultivation method is the same as that of the martial cultivators and Dao cultivators on the mortal continent. The advantage lies in having a deep foundation. Naturally, the speed of cultivation is also slower. However, effort is always rewarded. Breaking through to the early stage of mortal shedding realm and opening 10 sacred meridians is the best reward for her. Shuanai, congratulations. After a slight surprise, Duan Lingtian quickly congratulated Han Xuanai, feeling happy for her. Opening 10 sacred meridians in the early stage of mortal shedding realm. Xuanai's future is limitless. Thank you, Brother Tian. At this moment, the smile on Han Xuanai's face couldn't be suppressed. Since Xuanai had emerged from seclusion, Duan Lingtian told her about his plan to return to the Yunxiao continent. This time, I plan to move the Lingtian sect to Half Moon Island along the way. Half Moon Island is indeed the best place for cultivation outside of the Dao Martial Holy Land. With this place as its foundation, the Lingtian sect will eventually become a true super sect. Duan Lingtian's plan received Han Xuanai's approval. She had also developed feelings for the Lingtian sect. During the time Duan Lingtian was missing, she served as the acting sect master of the Lingtian sect, managing it on Duan Lingtian's behalf. Deciding to leave immediately, Duan Lingtian took the 2 little girls, the 3 little fellows, and Han Xuanai, and left Half Moon Island. After leaving Half Moon Island, they did not return directly to the Yunxiao continent. Led by Duan Lingtian, the group boarded Mist Concealment Island again and immediately found the great island master of Mist Concealment Island, Tang Zhun. Island Master Tang, where is Red Fire, the first revered elder of your Mist Concealment Island? Duan Lingtian asked straightforwardly. Seeing Han Xuanai right beside Duan Lingtian, Tang Zhun, who had personally witnessed Han Xuanai use a Dao talisman to kill the great island master of Coral Island, dared not be negligent. Elder Red Fire was taken away by people from the Dao Martial Holy Land some time ago. People from the Dao Martial Holy Land. Duan Lingtian frowned. What about the woman he brought back from the Yunxiao continent? She was also taken away. Tang Zhun said. Why would people from the Dao Martial Holy Land take them? Han Xuanai asked. It seems to be because they previously possessed the fire spirit body. I'm not clear on the specifics. Tang Zhun said. So that's it. It seems a certain force in the Dao Martial Holy Land took a fancy to their fire attribute talent. Han Xuanai nodded. Speaking later, she muttered softly, as if she had guessed something. As someone from the Dao Martial Holy Land, she naturally knew things that ordinary people did not. Xuanai, however, Duan Lingtian looked bewildered, completely unaware of what was happening. Brother Tian, Sister Tian Wu was probably taken in by a certain force in the Dao Martial Holy Land. That force valued her talent stemming from having previously been a fire spirit body. Han Xuanai said, the power originating from the fire spirit body within her, wasn't it gone long ago? Duan Lingtian frowned. Brother Tian, I just said she used to be a fire spirit body. Han Xuanai interrupted Duan Lingtian, emphasizing the word used. A person who used to be a fire spirit body will have their physique affected, becoming biased toward the fire attribute. Such people, whether cultivating fire attribute cultivation techniques or fire attribute saint-grade martial arts, their progress far exceeds that of ordinary people. Han Xuanai continued. So that's how it is. At this moment, Duan Lingtian also realized that Tian Wu's talent had been coveted by a certain force in the Dao Martial Holy Land. Do you know which force in the Dao Martial Holy Land it is? Duan Lingtian looked at Tang Zhun and asked. Even the island master of Fogvale Island, Tang Zhun, didn't know which force from the Dao Martial Saint Land had taken Feng Tianwu. This made Duan Lingtian sigh. However, one thing is for sure. Tianwu is safe now. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately after, Duan Lingtian asked Tang Zhun to help him find the materials needed to repair the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. Whether it was out of fear of Han Xuanai's methods or the prestige of Half Moon Island, Tang Zhun dared not neglect Duan Lingtian's request and immediately gave orders to mobilize the entire Fogvale Island's resources to search for the materials. When Tang Zhun learned that Duan Lingtian had become the new island master of Half Moon Island, he was so shocked that he couldn't recover for a long time. At this time, Duan Lingtian also learned that a group of Martial Emperor and Demon Emperor powerhouses from Cloud Continent had returned to Cloud Continent. The last trip to Half Moon Island resulted in heavy losses for both the 3 overseas Saint Islands and the 3 mortal continents, including Cloud Continent. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. The scene that had unfolded before his eyes was still vivid. The former island master of Half Moon Island, Diong, had used demonic arts to absorb essence and kill 85 outstanding young powerhouses from the 3 overseas Saint Islands and the 3 mortal continents. Soon, Duan Lingtian and his group left Fogvale Island. After leaving Fogvale Island, they returned directly to Cloud Continent. Along the way, Han Xuanai, a powerhouse at the early stage of the Transcendence Realm, led Duan Ling Tian and the others on their journey, at a speed far exceeding what Duan Ling Tian had experienced on his way there. When Duan Ling Tian had come, it was the spirit profound Martial Emperor, Yang Hui, who had led them. Yang Hui's cultivation was only at the 4th level of the Martial Emperor realm. In terms of speed, he was far inferior to Han Xuanai. At Han Xuanai's speed, it only took a few days for Duan Ling Tian and his group to traverse the vast sea and successfully return to Cloud Continent. Along the way, due to their extreme speed, they didn't even alarm the powerful demon beasts in the sea. After Duan Ling Tian and his group arrived at the northern outer land of Cloud Continent, they continued their journey, crossing the Weak Water River and successfully arriving at the inner land of Cloud Continent. Xuanai, I want to ask the 2 ancient clans to help me find those materials. After returning to the inner land, Duan Ling Tian said to Han Xuanai, "It's just a small matter." Han Xuanai smiled casually. To her, asking the 2 ancient clans for help was indeed a trivial matter. Little gold, little black, little white. You guys go and ask the other demon emperors and martial emperors for help. Duan Ling Tian then said to the 3 little fellows. Okay, the eyes of the 3 little fellows lit up. To them, this was a fun thing to do. If any demon emperor or martial emperor dared not cooperate, they would have an excuse to act. They had been cooped up on Half Moon Island for so long that they were already bored stiff. Duan Ling Tian had confidence in the strength of the 3 little fellows. Even if they encountered the strongest visible powerhouses on Cloud Continent, the Azure Profound Martial Emperor and the Savage Demon Emperor, they might not be their match. Moreover, the Azure Profound Martial Emperor knew them and would certainly cooperate. As for the Savage Demon Emperor, having witnessed Han Xuanai's methods, even if his strength surpassed theirs, he would likely not dare to refuse to cooperate. After Han Xuanai and the 3 little fellows left, Duan Ling Tian took the 2 young girls and headed straight for the new headquarters of the Ling Tian sect. He had already learned the location of the Ling Tian sect's new headquarters from Han Xuanai. The Ling Tian sect's new headquarters was a majestic mountain peak, also named Ling Tian Peak by Han Xuanai. I'll take you 2 back to pay respects to senior sister Yang Xue first. Duan Ling Tian extended his hands, gripping the hands of the 2 young girls respectively, and led them all the way to the former headquarters of the Ling Tian sect. The former headquarters of the Ling Tian sect was also the former headquarters of the Yin Yang sect. Kuer and Li Fei's eyes reddened upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words. At this moment, they couldn't help but think of the senior sister who had sacrificed her life for them. Feeling that the 2 young girls' emotions were a bit unstable, Duan Ling Tian tightened his grip on their hands and comforted them, saying, "If senior sister Yang Xue knew that you 2 are still alive and well, she would rest in peace even in the 9 springs." Whoosh! Duan Ling Tian flew rapidly with the 2 young girls, like a meteor streaking across the sky, at an astonishing speed. Boom, 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 boom. Suddenly, a series of loud noises reached the ears of Duan Ling Tian and the 2 girls. The sound grew closer and closer, coming from directly ahead of Duan Ling Tian and the 2 girls, clearly indicating a fight was taking place. Duan Ling Tian initially had no intention of interfering, but as a loud voice rang out, it caused him to suddenly stop, his expression becoming solemn. "Chiyu, today is your day to die." This thunderous roar was also the reason Duan Ling Tian stopped. Chiyu, Kuer, and Li Fei exchanged glances, both seeing surprise in each other's eyes. This name was not unfamiliar to them. They still remembered when Duan Ling Tian had told them about his past experiences. He had mentioned a third-rate force in the eastern region of the northern desert in the southern outer land of Cloud Continent. That third-rate force was a sect called the 5 Elements sect. The 5 Elements sect was divided into 5 peaks: gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. Among them, the peak master of Wood Peak was named Chiyu, and their man had a deep connection with the Wood Peak of the 5 Elements sect. Could it just be a coincidence? Li Fei said, "Whether it's a coincidence or not, we'll know if we go and see," Duan Ling Tian said, and in a flash, he brought the 2 girls to the source of the fighting. There, 3 burly middle-aged men were ganging up on one person. Above the void, the phenomena of heaven and earth surged, with phantom ancient dragons gathering and galloping. Such a scene was never seen on the 4 overseas Saint Islands. However, Duan Ling Tian's attention wasn't on this. Peak Master Chiyu. Although he only saw the back of the person being attacked, Duan Ling Tian recognized him at a glance as Chiyu, the former peak master of the Wood Peak of the Five Elements sect, the person who had helped him so much in the past. Now, facing the combined assault of 3 people, Chiyu had suffered serious injuries and was in grave danger. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before he would be killed. After confirming that the person before him was Chiyu, Duan Ling Tian vanished from his spot. Reappearing, he was already beside Chiyu. Boom. At the same time, a vast, surging shockwave swept out, sending the 3 men who were attacking Chiyu flying. The 3 shot out like arrows from a bow, looking utterly disheveled. Along the way, they continuously spat out clotted blood, which splattered across the sky, dazzling and striking. After flying a certain distance, the 3 men finally stopped, their faces ashen. Only after they took healing pills did their injuries somewhat subside. "You, who are you?" Immediately after, the 3 men regained their senses, looking at Duan Ling Tian with terror and apprehension. All 3 of them were direct disciples of the Demon Emperor, yet now, they had been easily sent flying by one person. This person's cultivation, it was clear, was an Emperor realm powerhouse, either a Demon Emperor or a Martial Emperor. At this moment, Chiyu also took a healing pill and caught his breath. He had thought he would surely die today, but he never expected someone to come to his rescue. After catching his breath, he immediately looked at his savior. "Thank you for saving." However, he didn't even finish his sentence before he froze. The purple-clad young man before him. With just one glance, he recognized him. Compared to the past, there was almost no change. If there was any difference between him and his past self, it was the change in his temperament. His temperament, in his eyes now, was so profound and unfathomable. Duan Ling. Chiyu looked at Duan Ling Tian incredulously, his tone filled with astonishment. Seeing Chiyu so stunned that he couldn't even say his name for a long time, Duan Ling Tian smiled and interrupted him. "Peak Master Chiyu, long time no see. I truly didn't expect that upon our reunion, you would have already reached the peak of the Martial Sovereign Realm. What good is being at the peak of the Martial Sovereign Realm? Compared to you, it's still not worth mentioning, is it?" Chiyu sighed, his gaze very complex. When he first met Duan Ling Tian's strength was not even worth his notice. In fact, with his strength at the time, he could have crushed Duan Ling Tian with just one finger. However, he was ashamed of his own inferiority when it came to Duan Ling Tian's martial arts talent. After their farewell at the entrance of the Martial Emperor's secret treasure that year, he knew that the next time he saw Duan Ling Tian would surely shock him. But he never expected that their reunion would shock him so much. Over the years, he considered his own strength improvement to be quite good. Now, he had even broken through to the peak of the Martial Sovereign Realm. He was just one step away from breaking through to the Martial Emperor realm and becoming a Martial Emperor powerhouse. However, even so, he still couldn't compare to the current Duan Ling Tian. Without even thinking, he could guess that Duan Ling Tian's cultivation had already broken through to the Martial Emperor realm. Otherwise, it would be impossible to instantly send the 3 men who were ganging up on him flying. If only one of these 3 men were singled out, he would not be their opponent. But with all 3 of them working together, he couldn't hold his own. Just now, he even thought he was going to die. Yet, he never expected that at the critical moment, someone would save his life. And that person was Duan Ling Tian. "The 3 of us are all direct disciples of the savage Demon Emperor. May I ask which Demon Emperor or Martial Emperor you are, Your Excellency?" One of the 3 burly middle-aged men cupped his hands and asked Duan Ling Tian. When he mentioned savage Demon Emperor, a hint of arrogance appeared between his brows. The savage Demon Emperor was one of the 2 strongest Emperor realm powerhouses on Cloud Continent. Among the Demon Emperor powerhouses on Cloud Continent, he was even preeminent, unmatched by any other demon. As a direct disciple of the savage Demon Emperor, he naturally felt immensely proud. Direct disciples of the savage Demon Emperor? Duan Ling Tian glanced at the 3 men indifferently and said, "Who I am is not for you to know. However, since you have injured Peak Master Chiyu, then your lives will be decided by Peak Master Chiyu." Duan Ling Tian's words were spoken with an air of nonchalance, yet they were extremely arrogant. When Duan Ling Tian spoke, The three personal disciples of the savage Void Emperor paled. Arrogant, too arrogant. That was their sole impression of the youth in purple robes. Peak Master Chiyu, what do you want done with them? Duan Lingtian looked at Chiyu and asked, We are the personal disciples of the savage Void Emperor. If you dare touch us, our master will never let you off. Before Chiyu could answer, the three personal disciples screamed at Duan Lingtian and Chiyu in hysterics. One of them even flung out a message jade slip. At that moment they could only do this. They dared not flee. Before a powerhouse who might be an emperor of demons or a martial emperor expert, any attempt to escape would end in instant death. He even threw out a message jade slip for the savage Void Emperor. Duan Lingtian studied the trio with interest, his expression as calm and casual as ever. At his words, all three blanched. Their frantic shrieks had been meant to draw Duan Lingtian's attention away from the jade slip. They never expected him to notice it anyway. As their faces changed, their yuan power surged, profound truth coiling around them, while they stared at Duan Lingtian in dread, despair flickering in the depths of their eyes. Savage Void Emperor. Chiyu's face changed. He had been in the inland of Yunshao continent for some time and knew the savage Void Emperor was the mightiest demon sovereign on the continent. He had never imagined the three demon monarchs he fought were personal disciples of the savage Void Emperor. Duan Lingtian, let's go. Chiyu hurriedly used yuan power sound condensation to call Duan Lingtian to flee. In his view, even if Duan Lingtian was already a martial emperor expert, he could not rival the savage Void Emperor, the strongest demon sovereign on Yunshao continent. Yet Duan Lingtian acted as if he had not heard and studied the three with interest. Since you have such faith in your master, I shall wait here for him. Wait for him. When those words rang out, Chiyu's face changed again. He thought Duan Lingtian must be mad. The three opposite them sneered, certain he was courting death. Time slipped quietly away. Chiyu, who had been frantic, gradually grew numb. Why is Duan Lingtian still so calm? Does he know the savage Void Emperor and believe he won't attack? That was the only explanation Chiyu could find as he looked at Duan Lingtian's serene face. The idea that Duan Lingtian could defeat the savage Void Emperor never crossed his mind. Subconsciously, he deemed it impossible. Half an hour later, Duan Lingtian suddenly lifted his gaze to the sky. At the same moment, a stocky tower-like figure appeared before him. The very savage Void Emperor he had seen several times overseas. What's going on? The moment he arrived, the savage Void Emperor saw Duan Lingtian frowned and asked his three personal disciples, Master. The three greeted him respectfully, then pointed at Duan Lingtian. He's the one who wants to kill us. Master, he waited for you on purpose. Clearly he doesn't take you seriously. They poured out accusations, trying to fan his anger. The savage Void Emperor's face darkened. During his recent trips to Mist Concealment Island and Half Moon Island, he had lost several outstanding personal disciples, so he treasured the survivors all the more. Now, hearing someone meant to kill them, he was thoroughly enraged. Yet though furious, he had not lost reason. His gaze swept the surroundings as though searching for something. No need to look. The one you fear is not here. Duan Lingtian knew the savage Void Emperor was checking whether Han Shuanai was present. Back when Han Shuanai had used a Dao talisman to slay the great island master of Coral Island, the savage Void Emperor had been there to witness it. Hence he dreaded Han Shuanai. Duan Lingtian, shouldn't you give me an explanation? Learning Han Shuanai was absent, the savage Void Emperor's face turned cold, and he glared at Duan Lingtian. Explanation? What explanation? Duan Lingtian asked with interest. You intend to kill my personal disciples? The savage Void Emperor spoke, each word seething with savage menace. So what if I do? Duan Lingtian replied casually, a response that made even Chiyu break into a cold sweat. Duan Lingtian, know your place. I'll admit your talent is remarkable, but before me you amount to nothing. The savage Void Emperor's expression grew ever darker, and his voice dropped to a threatening growl. That's right. People should know their place, but I think demons need it even more. Don't you agree? Duan Lingtian's expression stayed calm as he asked quietly. Faced with Duan Lingtian, who showed no fear at all, the furious barbaric Void Demon Emperor felt a jolt in his heart, as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over him. He sobered a little and thought, what backing does this Duan Lingtian have, that he dares act so wildly before me? For a moment, the barbaric Void Demon Emperor began scanning his surroundings again. Seeing the Demon Emperor's actions, Duan Lingtian couldn't help finding it amusing. However, he said nothing more to the Demon Emperor. Instead, he looked toward Chiyu and declared, Peak Master Chiyu, if you want these three dead, I can act for you at any time. The moment these words left Duan Lingtian's mouth, the three personal disciples of the barbaric void demon emperor turned deathly pale. Chiyu's face showed surprise. At this point, Duan Lingtian still dared to say he would kill the three personal disciples of the barbaric void demon emperor? Since Peak Master Chiyu says nothing, I'll take that as consent. Since you consent, I'll kill the three of them. Consider it venting your anger for you. The instant his voice fell, Duan Lingtian looked at the three personal disciples. A biting chill flashed in his eyes. Stop playing mysterious. Having confirmed no one else was nearby, the barbaric void demon emperor came back to his senses, glared at Duan Lingtian, and barked in a low voice. When he sensed the killing intent rising in Duan Lingtian toward his three personal disciples, his face changed drastically and he shot out. But it was already too late. Boom, boom, boom. With three explosive blasts, the three personal disciples of the barbaric void demon emperor burst into clouds of blood mist in an instant, leaving only 3 storage rings and a pile of profundity fragments behind. After catching the storage rings and profundity fragments, Duan Lingtian raised his hand and, with an invisible force, guided them to land steadily before Chiyu. Clearly, he intended to hand the spoils to Chiyu. Duan Lingtian, at this moment, driven to near madness by the death of his 3 personal disciples, the barbaric void demon emperor roared and lunged straight at Duan Lingtian. At this instant, he seemed to transform into a primordial ferocious beast, his bloody maw wide open, as if he would not rest until he had swallowed Duan Lingtian whole. Humph! Facing the demon emperor rushing to kill him, Duan Lingtian let out a cold snort, his expression unchanged. Only when the barbaric void demon emperor reached him and a sky-filling barrage of attacks came crashing down did Duan Lingtian move. He lifted his hand, and a powerful bow appeared out of thin air. Immediately afterward, his hand settled on the bowstring. As he drew the string into a full moon and released it, a thunderous roar rang out, accompanied by a rolling, vast shockwave that tore through the sky. It met the demon emperor's onslaught. In an instant, wherever the shockwave passed, every attack of the barbaric void demon emperor was neutralized. Not only that, the immense shockwave also struck the demon emperor himself, blasting him away. He flew dozens of meters before finally steadying himself. He forcibly swallowed the mouthful of blood he nearly spat out. After catching his breath, he grimly gulped it down. Even now he struggled to preserve his image. Yet his deathly pale face betrayed him. Taking a deep breath and swallowing a medicinal pill for healing, the barbaric void demon emperor's injuries eased slightly. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, there was nothing in his eyes but terror. Now he completely gave up any thought of avenging his 3 personal disciples. What a joke! From the strength the other had just displayed, he was far from a match. No matter how desperately he fought, he would only meet a miserable death in the end. So he chose to give up. Perhaps that way he could escape with his life. Duan Lingtian, I didn't ask clearly just now. Thinking back, they must have offended your friends. Killing them is understandable. To preserve his life, the barbaric void demon emperor took the initiative to yield. At this moment, his heart held nothing but shock, utter shock. Never in his wildest dreams had he imagined that this youth in purple robes, whom he had never taken seriously, had long since surpassed him in power. The strength shown moments ago was simply beyond his reach. Since it was a misunderstanding, let the matter end here, Duan Lingtian said. He had no intention of pressing the demon emperor further. Good. The barbaric void demon emperor nodded hurriedly. This was exactly the outcome he desired. However, there's something I'd like your help with, demon emperor. Surely you won't refuse? Duan Lingtian stated straight to the point. A moment ago the two had been at daggers drawn. Now they seemed able to sit down and chat calmly. Chiyu watched, dumbstruck. Of course not. The barbaric void demon emperor shook his head at once. A smile plastered across his face. Only he knew what lay behind that smile. If you devote yourself wholeheartedly to this favor, I'll reward you appropriately afterward. If your help proves substantial, I'm willing to offer a saint stone as thanks, Duan Lingtian said. Duan Lingtian had promised the Savage Emperor, Manhwa, a saint stone. As long as the Savage Emperor could find the large quantity of materials he needed, Duan Lingtian was willing to give him a saint stone, and the Savage Emperor was naturally ecstatic. As soon as Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, he bid farewell and left in a hurry. "You scoundrel, why didn't you kill him?" Li Fei frowned. The Savage Emperor's arrogant demeanor earlier had also annoyed her. Keeping him alive is 1,100 times better than killing him. He is the #1 demon emperor on Cloud Continent, and his influence is extraordinary. If he helps, the efficiency of finding materials will certainly be higher. Duan Ling Tian said. With the Savage Emperor's command, I'm afraid all the demons in the interior of Cloud Continent will work for him, Kudur said softly. That's exactly what I'm counting on. Duan Ling Tian nodded. Neither the two ancient clans nor Emperor Qing Xian can truly command the unruly demons, even if they are considered among the top human martial artists in terms of rallying power. But with the Savage Emperor's help, it's naturally different. This was also the reason Duan Ling Tian was willing to promise the Savage Emperor a Saint Stone. In the eyes of the demon beasts in the interior of Cloud Continent, the Savage Emperor was undoubtedly an emperor-like existence. When the emperor gives a command, who dares to disobey? Moreover, demon beasts are more efficient than human martial artists in finding those materials. Demon beasts naturally live in the wilderness, and they might have seen those materials before and know where to find them. Duan Ling Tian spared no effort to repair the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. Of course, his diligent efforts were also driven by his desire to repair the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda as quickly as possible. According to the three-legged golden crow, Old Fire, even if only the second level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda was repaired, he would be able to obtain the immortal treasure, Magnificent Immortal Sword. The Magnificent Immortal Sword is an offensive immortal treasure with extraordinary power. In addition to this, Duan Ling Tian also learned that as long as the second level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda was repaired, he could ascend from the first level to cultivate within it. The second level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda offered an even better cultivation environment. Furthermore, the flow of time there was even more exaggerated. 3 days spent on the second level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda equated to only 1 day outside. Therefore, whether it was for the Magnificent Immortal Sword or for a better cultivation environment, Duan Ling Tian wanted to help Old Fire repair the second level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda as soon as possible. Qi Yu stood to the side, speechless for a long time. His gaze fell on Duan Ling Tian, extremely complex. The unruly young man from back then had achieved so much today. Even this Savage Emperor, who was known as the #1 demon emperor on Cloud Continent, was not his match. Peak Master Qi Yu, how did you provoke the Savage Emperor's direct disciple? Duan Ling Tian looked at Qi Yu and asked curiously. It's all because of this spirit weapon. Qi Yu shook the narrow sword in his hand and said with a wry smile. The narrow sword looked ordinary, but it emanated waves of sharp aura, as if it could tear through everything. With just one glance, Duan Ling Tian recognized it. This was a royal-grade spirit sword. Searching through the memories of the reincarnation Martial Emperor, Duan Ling Tian quickly learned that this was one of the reincarnation Martial Emperor's creations back then. This sword is a treasure, Duan Ling Tian said with a smile. You saw through it? Qi Yu was a little surprised. After all, even he only realized its extraordinary nature after using the sword in his hand. Yes, Duan Ling Tian nodded, then changed the subject. Peak Master Qi Yu, when you were wandering in the interior, were you alone? Did you not join any sect or family? No, Qi Yu shook his head. I left the Five Elements sect because I didn't want to be restrained. Over the years, I've gotten used to being free. That's not bad. However, you still need to be careful when you're out and about, especially with the sword in your hand. Never easily let others see its extraordinary nature, lest you stir up more trouble. Duan Ling Tian reminded him. In the future, Peak Master Qi Yu, if you ever get tired of wandering, you can always come to Ling Tian's sect. Once you're at Ling Tian's sect, you just need to say you're my friend. Duan Ling Tian said. Ling Tian's sect. Hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, Qi Yu's pupils constricted. Are you talking about the #1 sect on Cloud Continent? Ling Tian's sect? I've long heard that the sect master of Ling Tian's sect, Duan Ling Tian, went missing, and the entire Ling Tian sect is searching for him. Don't tell me you are the sect master of Ling Tian sect. Although he had long heard that the Ling Tian sect master was also named Duan Ling Tian, Qi Yu had only thought it was a coincidence. In his opinion, The Duan Ling Tian he knew, no matter how talented, could not possibly become the sect master of the #1 sect on Cloud Continent in just a few short years. He had only thought it was someone with the same name as the Duan Ling Tian he knew. But now, hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, and recalling the strength Duan Ling Tian had just displayed, for a moment, he couldn't help but connect the Duan Ling Tian he knew with the sect master of Ling Tian's sect. Yes, Ling Tian's sect is my sect. Duan Ling Tian nodded, and as if remembering something, continued. Nangong Chun and Nangong Yi, the two brothers, are also in Ling Tian's sect now. The Nangong brothers, direct disciples of the Five Elements sect master, were originally at Spirit Profound Peak, the cultivation ground of Emperor Yanghui. According to Xuanai, they later went to Ling Tian's sect. I really never thought that you, Duan Ling Tian, would actually be the sect master of the #1 sect on Cloud Continent. Qiyu sighed, shaking his head. Then, his expression turned serious as he asked, Duan Ling Tian, your current cultivation, it should be above the Martial Emperor stage 8th level, right? As far as he knew, the Savage Emperor was in existence at the Demon Emperor stage 7th level. Yes, Duan Ling Tian nodded. Following that, the two chatted for a while longer before parting ways. Before this, Duan Ling Tian introduced the two young girls to Qiyu, which made Qiyu exclaim, Duan Ling Tian, you are truly a winner in life. Isn't that right? Duan Ling Tian not only possessed heaven-defying talent himself, but at such a young age, he had already reached the pinnacle of Cloud Continent. Even his two fiancées were peerless beauties. After parting with Qiyu, Duan Ling Tian took the two young girls and continued towards the original Yin Yang sect stronghold, which was now still considered a stronghold of Ling Tian's sect. However, it had become a branch. This branch was managed by two people. Duan Ling Tian had heard this from Xuanai while they were still on their way. Those two were also among those who were unwilling to leave back then. Xiongquan, Jinsha, young master. Upon seeing Duan Ling Tian again, Xiongquan and Jinsha were both a little agitated. They had stayed here, in fact, with a persistent belief that Duan Ling Tian would definitely return. And now, Duan Ling Tian had indeed returned. Miss Kutter, Miss Feier. Immediately after, Xiongquan looked at Kuer and Li Fei, greeting them respectfully. He was not unfamiliar with Kuer and Li Fei, knowing that they were his young master's fiancées. For the sake of the two girls, his young master had previously spent a lot of effort searching for them, but in the end, found nothing. Mistress, prompted by Xiongquan, Jinsha also reacted and quickly bowed to Kuer and Li Fei. Kuer and Li Fei nodded, a faint smile on their faces, but their brows also showed a hint of urgency. Noticing the urgency of the two girls, Duan Ling Tian led them to the wooden house where Yang Shui's remains were placed. With the ice coffin, Yang Shui's body was still perfectly preserved. Senior sister, seeing the white-clad woman lying in the ice coffin, two lines of clear tears fell from the two young girls' beautiful faces. Their faces were filled with nothing but guilt. After all, Yang Shui had died protecting them. Senior sister, the scoundrel has already avenged you. You can rest in peace in the underworld, Li Fei said softly. Senior sister, Feier's sister, and I are both doing well. Don't worry. We will live good lives and not let down your expectations. Kuer sobbed uncontrollably. Seeing this scene, Duan Ling Tian sighed and retreated. For the next few days, Duan Ling Tian did not disturb the two young girls, letting them stay by Yang Shui's side. During this time, besides cultivating himself, he also refined some pills for Xiongquan and Jinsha. As people close to Duan Ling Tian, Han Shui and I did not treat them poorly after becoming the acting sect master of Ling Tian's sect. Therefore, their current cultivation levels were not low. 10 days later, on the peak of the former Yin Peak of the Yin Yang sect, now Ling Tian Peak, three figures stood together. They were Duan Ling Tian, Kuer, and Li Fei. In front of them, two tombstones stood prominently. One of the tombstones belonged to Yang Shui, and the other belonged to the former vice peak master of Yin Peak of the Yin Yang sect, who was also the master of Kuer, Li Fei, and Yang Shui. This vice peak master of Yin Peak of the Yin Yang sect was also the elder sister of peak master Qin Xiang of the Seven Star Sword sect. Duan Ling Tian had never met her. However, since she was the master of the two young girls and had been very kind to them, he still paid his respects to her tombstone as a junior. Facing Yang Shue's tombstone, Duan Ling Tian bowed solemnly. Senior Sister Yang Shui, thank you. If it weren't for your desperate protection, I might not have seen the two young girls again. Towards the end, Duan Ling Tian bowed deeply. After Yang Shui was laid to rest, Kuer and Li Fei guarded her tomb for another 3 months. During these 3 months, they sat cross-legged in front of the tombstone, quietly keeping watch. This made Duan Ling Tian feel a pang of heartache. 3 months was enough time for many things to happen. Duan Ling Tian's strength had advanced further. In terms of Sword Dao profoundness, he successfully comprehended the 9th level Emperor stage, Sword Dao profoundness. In terms of fusion profoundness, he comprehended the 8th level fusion profoundness. Now, I can be considered to have entered the Martial Emperor stage peak. As long as I can use Sword Dao profoundness as a medium to integrate the 2 great profoundnesses into my body and open up a Saint Meridian, I will have entered the transcendent stage. Duan Ling Tian murmured, a faint smile curving on his lips, revealing his joy. Regarding fusion profundity, Duan Ling Tian still couldn't figure out what was going on. Back then, 5 types of monarch stage natural profound truths fused to become fusion profundity. The power of fusion profundity was so great that it could even rival Emperor realm profundity. In his confusion, Duan Ling Tian decided to ask the 3-legged golden crow, Elder Hua, inside the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. Upon entering the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda, Duan Ling Tian found Elder Hua sitting cross-legged in the air with his eyes closed, unsure if he was cultivating or resting. By the time Duan Ling Tian entered, Elder Hua had already opened his eyes. Duan Ling Tian asked about the doubts in his heart. Profound truth. Elder Hua's brow twitched. It was the first time he had heard this term. After all, cultivation systems varied more or less from place to place. Profound truth was just the terminology used on the Yunxiao continent. Perhaps on the other 2 mortal continents, it was called something else. It's this kind of power. With a wave of Duan Ling Tian's hand, multicolored power gathered into a multicolored orb of light that floated in the air. This is what I call fusion profundity, and this is sword profundity. Duan Ling Tian raised his other hand, and a translucent sword emitting waves of sharp aura floated above his palm, spinning continuously. So this is what you call profound truth. Elder Hua took a glance and nodded. The profound truth you speak of is similar to the 5 elements qi on the Yanhuang star. Once the 5 elements qi is completely integrated into the body, it will stimulate one's potential, causing their strength to advance by leaps and bounds. Hearing Elder Hua's words, Duan Ling Tian's eyes lit up. What Elder Hua said seemed somewhat similar to the purpose of the existence of profound truth. According to Xuan Nai's words, once a profound truth is fully integrated into the body, it will be able to open up sacred meridians. At that time, the profound truth will become a part of one's body and no longer be separate. This led to the same destination as the 5 elements qi Elder Hua mentioned. Your sword profundity feels like it has reached the limit of 5 elements qi. As for this fusion profundity, it also seems to be nearing its limit. However, I can feel it still has great potential that hasn't been tapped into yet. Elder Hua's gaze fell on the multicolored orb floating in the air, and as he spoke, a hint of confusion appeared between his brows. Great potential? Hearing this, Duan Ling Tian's heart jolted as he thought to himself, could it be? The current fusion profundity is only monarch stage fusion profundity? Can it still be upgraded to Emperor realm fusion profundity? The more he thought about it, the more exaggerated Duan Ling Tian felt it was. Isn't this too outrageous? Fusion profundity was already enough to rival Emperor realm profundity. If it could still be upgraded to Emperor realm fusion profundity, then how strong would its power be? 10 times that of Emperor realm profundity? What kind of concept was that? Just thinking about it made Duan Ling Tian's scalp tingle. If possible, I hope you can fully tap into the potential of fusion profundity before making a breakthrough. By then, the benefits you'll gain will be beyond ordinary imagination. Elder Hua pondered for a moment before speaking to Duan Ling Tian again. Wait until the potential of fusion profundity is tapped into further? Duan Ling Tian frowned. If the 8th level fusion profundity he had comprehended was truly only 8th level monarch stage profundity, then to fully tap into the potential of fusion profundity, wouldn't he have to comprehend 9th level Emperor realm profundity? From 8th level monarch stage fusion profundity, to 9th level Emperor Realm Fusion Profundity. Heavens, how long would that take? However, Duan Lingtian also believed Elder Hua's words. Who was Elder Hua? The three-legged golden crow, the sun bird from the ancient myths and legends of his past life. To put it bluntly, there was no need for such an existence to lie to him. Moreover, he was now the master of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. As the pagoda spirit of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda, it was logically impossible for Elder Hua to harm him, nor did he have any reason to. Taking a deep breath, Duan Lingtian voiced his concerns. The time required to comprehend 9th level Emperor Realm Fusion Profundity was too long. The time required is indeed a bit long. However, you can cultivate inside the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda, where time passes more slowly. Elder Hua said to Duan Lingtian, in the first level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda, 2 days inside is only 1 day outside. Furthermore, if you can find enough materials, I can repair the second level of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. Then, 3 days inside will be only 1 day outside. Elder Hua continued, that's the only way. Duan Lingtian nodded. He had decided not to use the 9th level sword Profundity as a medium to try and open the hidden sacred meridians in his body for now. He would wait until he comprehended 9th level Emperor Realm Fusion Profundity before doing so. Fusion Profundity. I only hope you can give me a surprise when the time comes. Duan Lingtian comforted himself in his heart. He knew that from the moment he made this decision, he was destined to delay opening his sacred meridians and breaking through to the transcendent realm. At the same time, a strong premonition rose in Duan Lingtian's heart. This decision might affect the number of sacred meridians he would open in the future. This way, I should have a chance to surpass Bastard. Bastard, at the mid-stage transcendent realm, opened 23 sacred meridians. Even for Xuanai, when she breaks through to the mid-stage transcendent realm in the future, it's almost impossible for her to open 23 sacred meridians, at most 22. The bastard Duan Lingtian spoke of was naturally Wang Ba. He was also the current Di Yong, who had already left Half Moon Island for the Dao Martial Holy Land. The reason he had such confidence was that he was no longer the same as before. Now, he had not only undergone a second rebirth, but his foundation was also extremely solid. Are you kidding me? In terms of foundation solidity, what could compare to Fusion Profundity? It's really something to look forward to. If I could open 81 sacred meridians, it would definitely be amazing. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he dreamed a dream that even his subconscious felt was unlikely to come true. One must know that in the long history of the Dao Martial Holy Land, only 3 people had opened 81 sacred meridians. Although he hadn't experienced the difficulty himself, he could guess some of it, because of Elder Hua's reminder and his own determination. For the following period, Duan Lingtian focused his attention on comprehending Fusion Profundity. Comprehending Fusion Profundity was the only thing he could do at the moment. Whether it was his cultivation or his sword Profundity, both had reached their limits. There was no way to continue improving them. It's quite a coincidence. The Sword Dao insights in my mind originating from that sword character were completely digested by the time I comprehended the 9th level Emperor Realm Sword Profundity. Duan Lingtian murmured softly. It seems it's time to go back and look at that sword character again. I wonder, once I see that sword character again and gain more Sword Dao insights, if my sword Profundity will continue to improve. Regarding sword Profundity, Duan Lingtian had comprehended 9th level Emperor Realm Sword Profundity, which, by common logic, was the limit. However, in Duan Lingtian's view, that sword character could not be viewed with common logic. He had felt this deeply in the past. The 2 little girls guarded Yang Shui's tombstone for 3 months before getting up to leave and returning to Duan Lingtian's side. We're going back to the southern outer land. After telling the 2 little girls and greeting Xiongquan and Golden Fiend, Duan Lingtian left with the 2 little girls. Although Xiongquan and Golden Fiend wanted to follow Duan Lingtian, as soon as they thought of Kier and Li Fei, they dismissed the idea. Wouldn't it be tactless to follow at a time like this? Duan Lingtian took the 2 little girls and soon traversed the vast Weak-Water River, successfully arriving at the southern outer land. Sigh. After returning to the southern outer land, Duan Lingtian sighed, feeling sorrowful at the sight of familiar scenes. At this moment, he thought of the Liu family that had been wiped out by the Han clan. He had stayed with the Liu family for a while, but now, they were gone just like that. Here and Li Fei quietly stayed by Duan Lingtian's side, without saying a word. At this moment, silence spoke louder than words. If the Han clan disciple who wiped out the Lu family were still alive, Duan Lingtian would have sought revenge immediately. But the problem was that Han clan disciple had already been killed by Xuanai. Therefore, Duan Lingtian could only cherish the memory of the former Lu family. As long as Lu Bai is still around, the Lu family's roots aren't severed. Since I'm back this time, I'll help him rebuild the Lu family. At this moment, Duan Lingtian thought of Lu Bai. Lu Bai, the second young master of the Lu family, was a survivor after the Lu family was destroyed. He later crossed the Weak Water River to the inland and joined the Lingtian sect, becoming one of its members. With another long sigh, Duan Lingtian took the two little girls and left the Beiki region of the southern outer land. At Duan Lingtian's current speed, it didn't take long for him to step onto a familiar land, northern desert region. Back then, when he first left the Great Han Dynasty, he came to the northern desert region to participate in the 10 Dynasties Martial Assembly, hosted by the Azure Wolf Fortress, a third-rate force in the northern desert region. With the start of the 10 Dynasties Martial Assembly, he truly stepped onto the stage of the Yunxiao continent. Looking back, even though Duan Lingtian had lived 2 lives, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion for a while. Without staying in the northern desert region, Duan Lingtian took the 2 little girls back to the Great Han Dynasty, the Blackstone Empire, the Qinglin Imperial Kingdom, and finally, back to the 7-Star Sword Sect. After several years, the station of the 7-Star Sword Sect, with its 7 soaring sword peaks, had returned to its former appearance, showing no signs of the sect-destroying disaster it had once endured. High in the sky, Duan Lingtian stood there, gazing at the 7 sword peaks, a trace of nostalgia flashing in his eyes. In contrast, the 2 little girls standing beside him had red eyes, and their delicate bodies trembled slightly with excitement. They had been away from this place for far too long. When they left back then, they never would have imagined that it would be for more than 10 years. Here, go and see Peak Master Qin Xiang. She must have missed you dearly over these years, Duan Lingtian said to Kier. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Kier nodded and flew out, heading straight into Tianshu Peak, the head of the 7 great sword peaks. Bad guy, I want to set up a tombstone for Master and Senior Sister, Li Fei said softly. Even though she had long known from Duan Lingtian that her Master Elder Bai and Senior Sisters Wuqing from the 7-Star Sword sect had passed away, seeing the familiar sights now still made her feel sentimental. I already set up the tombstones back then. They're at Elder Bai's former cultivation place, Duan Lingtian said. When the 7-Star Sword sect was rebuilt, he, along with the current sect master of the 7-Star Sword sect, MOU, and others, had erected tombstones for the deceased high-level members of the sect. Bad guy. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, grief welled up in Li Fei's heart, and she threw herself into his arms, tears flowing down and wetting his robes. Duan Lingtian didn't mind. He held Li Fei with one arm and gently stroked her smooth back with the other. Little Feier, Elder Bai and Senior Sisters Wuqing certainly wouldn't want to see you like this. With Duan Lingtian's comfort, Li Fei's mood gradually recovered. Then, Li Fei and Duan Lingtian went to Yaowang Peak together, to Elder Bai's former cultivation place. Although Elder Bai's former cultivation place had been uninhabited for years, the environment remained as it was before. The flowers and grass were clearly trimmed regularly. MOU is quite thoughtful. Duan Lingtian nodded. He knew it must be MOU who had people come frequently to maintain the greenery here. In front of the wooden cabin stood 2 tombstones. They were the tombstones of the former Elder Bai of Yaowang Peak and her disciples Wuqing. Master, Senior Sister, Bad Guy has avenged you and rebuilt the 7-Star Sword sect. You can rest in peace in the afterlife now. Li Fei stood before the tombstones and spoke softly, tears continuing to fall. She looked pitiful and moving. Duan Lingtian stood by her side, looking at the 2 stone tablets before him with a dazed expression. At this moment, scenes of the 7-Star Sword sect being wiped out flashed through his mind. Even now, recalling that scene made his heart tremble. Although he had already avenged them, they could never come back to life. They had left him and the 7-Star Sword sect forever. Silently, Duan Lingtian bowed deeply to the tombstones of Elder Bai and Wuqing. Elder Bai, Senior Sisters Wuqing. Rest assured, I will take good care of little Feier. Duan Lingtian said to the two tombstones. After paying their respects to Elder Bai and Zhua Qing, Duan Lingtian and Li Fei left Yaowang Peak and returned to the Void Realm where they had first stood. When they arrived, Duan Lingtian discovered that Kier had already returned. Beside Kier, there was another familiar figure, Qin Xiang, Peak Master of Yaowang Peak of the Seven-Star Sword Sect. The current Qin Xiang hadn't changed much compared to the past. This also showed that she had maintained herself well. One must know that only by breaking through to the Martial Emperor realm can one maintain eternal youth. Before the Martial Emperor realm, although a higher cultivation meant slower aging, without deliberate maintenance, traces of time would still appear on one's face. Duan Lingtian. Do you really not intend to see the sect master? Seeing Duan Lingtian again, Qin Xiang's gaze was extremely complex. Just now, she had heard from Kier about Duan Lingtian's achievements over the years and knew that he was now the sect master of the #1 sect on the Yunxiao continent. Her heart was filled with nothing but shock. That little fellow from the past had actually reached the peak of the Yunxiao continent today. Thinking back on the past, she even felt as if she were in a dream. If they knew in the afterlife, they would surely be able to rest in peace. Qin Xiang thought to herself. They naturally referred to the people of the Seven-Star Sword Sect who perished along with its destruction, including the former sect master, Linghu Jinhong. I won't see him for now. The Seven-Star Sword Sect will always be the Seven-Star Sword Sect. Duan Lingtian shook his head and said, "MHM." Qin Xiang nodded. She naturally understood what Duan Lingtian meant. He clearly didn't want to interfere with the future of the Seven-Star Sword Sect. If the people of the Seven-Star Sword Sect knew that Duan Lingtian was now the sect master of the Lingtian sect, the #1 sect on the Yunxiao continent, they would surely want the Seven-Star Sword Sect to become a subordinate of the Lingtian sect. By then, the Seven-Star Sword Sect would become a vassal of the Lingtian sect, existing in name only. And that was not what Duan Lingtian wanted to see. Master, do you really not want to leave with me? Kier looked at Qin Xiang with a reluctant expression. Although her current cultivation was far superior to Qin Xiang's, a teacher for a day is a mother for a lifetime. She would never forget the grace of her past teachings. Just now, Kier had tried to persuade Qin Xiang to leave, but she was refused. Kier, Master knows your filial heart. However, Master has spent most of her life in the Seven-Star Sword Sect and can no longer leave it. Qin Xiang affectionately held Kier's hand and said softly, "When you and Duan Lingtian have children, just remember to come back and visit me often." Hearing Qin Xiang's words, Kier's cheeks flushed with shyness. Under Qin Xiang's gaze, Duan Lingtian took the two little girls and left. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in the sky above the Qishao Kingdom, a vassal state of the Qinglin Imperial Kingdom. The Qishao Kingdom was their hometown. Duan Lingtian's purpose for returning this time was simple: to visit old friends and also to ask their opinions, to see if they were willing to leave with them and live on the overseas Holy Island, Half Moon Island. This time, Duan Lingtian took the two little girls to the imperial city's divine might marquis residence, first to see the two old marquises. The reason he said two old marquises was that Nia Wutian, the former Marquis Shenwei, had also retreated behind the scenes. The current Marquis Shenwei was Nia Fun, the young marquis from back then, and also Duan Lingtian's big brother Nia. Time flies, and things change. Returning this time, Duan Lingtian felt a lot of emotions. Not only was Nia Fun's home full of children, but Xiao Yu and Xiao Sun also had both sons and daughters. It was worth mentioning that Li Xian, that little fatty from the past, also had 3 sons and a daughter. Additionally, Duan Lingtian went to the palace to see the old emperor. The once heroic emperor was now aging day by day and had passed down the throne a few years ago. Duan Lingtian, do you know when Bai Yao will return? The old emperor looked at Duan Lingtian expectantly and asked. The Bai Yao the old emperor spoke of was naturally the former #1 beauty of the Qishao Kingdom's imperial city, Princess Bai Yao. I don't know either, but if I see her, I'll tell her to come back and visit you. Duan Lingtian said. Good, good. Hearing this, the old emperor beamed with smiles. Princess Bai Yao was the most sensible of his daughters and was deeply loved by him, even more than the princess. If Princess Bai Yao had been a son, he would have passed the throne to her long ago. Father and mother are really something, to have actually taken Princess Bai Yao away. Thinking of Princess Bai Yao's whereabouts, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but smile bitterly to himself. Not just Princess Bai Yao. His father and mother had also taken Xiao Yu's younger sister, Xiaolan, away. When he saw Xiao Yu earlier, Xiao Yu had also asked about Xiaolan's whereabouts, but he really had no idea. To be precise, although he knew Xiaolan was in the Dao Martial Holy Land, he didn't know where exactly. It's a pity the sound-condensing jade slip inside the exquisite jade box was damaged by me. Otherwise, once I reached the Dao Martial Holy Land and meet up with the people father arranged, I would surely be able to see Mother, Xiaolan, Princess Bai Yao, and the others immediately. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian sighed incessantly in his heart. Originally, this sound-condensing jade slip Duan Roughing left for Duan Lingtian mentioned going to a certain place in the Dao Martial Holy Land to find the people he arranged. Unfortunately, the jade slip was damaged, and the most important part was lost. As a result, Duan Lingtian didn't know where to go to find the people his father had arranged. Now, even if Duan Lingtian went to the Dao Martial Holy Land, trying to find his father would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Leaving the palace, Duan Lingtian went to the Sacred Martial Academy and saw the dean, Sima Changfeng. Sima Changfeng had been his teacher at the Sacred Martial Academy back then. Although he hadn't taught him much, he had helped him a lot, and he had always been grateful, so he still regarded him as a teacher. You little fellow, what stage has your cultivation reached now? Seeing Duan Lingtian again, Sima Changfeng asked directly. This was what he was most interested in every time he saw Duan Lingtian. 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm. Duan Lingtian smiled. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Sima Changfeng spat out the tea he had just sipped, his face turning a bit red as he asked, "You? What did you say? Martial Emperor realm. And the 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm?" "Yes, teacher." Duan Lingtian nodded seriously. Hearing this, Sima Changfeng looked Duan Lingtian up and down as if looking at a monster, muttering, "Although I knew long ago that you were a freak, I didn't expect you to be this much of a freak. 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm? That should be the limit a martial artist can reach, right?" Sima Changfeng had long heard that the peak for a martial artist was the Martial Emperor realm. Once one breaks through to the Martial Emperor realm, they become a Martial Emperor expert. Martial Emperor experts are existences standing at the peak of the Yunxiao continent, looking down upon all living beings. To him, a Martial Emperor expert was a legendary existence. And now, the little fellow standing before him, his former student, was actually a Martial Emperor expert, and even one at the 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm. At this moment, he only wondered if he was dreaming. If Duan Lingtian hadn't been there, and he didn't have to mind his image, he would have long since reached out to pinch his thigh to see if it hurt. Before, I also thought that the 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm was the limit for a martial artist. However, that's not actually the case. Duan Lingtian sighed. What do you mean by that? Is there an existence even stronger than a Martial Emperor expert? Sima Changfeng asked, his eyes wide. In his eyes, Martial Emperor experts were legendary, invincible existences. But now, Duan Lingtian said, the 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm wasn't the limit? The implication was undoubtedly that there were existences even stronger than 9th level Martial Emperor realm experts. Teacher, the 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm, in our Yunxiao continent, can indeed be considered a peak existence. But beyond the Yunxiao continent, there is an even vaster world. Duan Lingtian patiently introduced the matters beyond the Yunxiao continent to Sima Changfeng, including the 4 overseas holy islands, the other 2 mortal continents, and the Dao Martial Holy Land. As Duan Lingtian patiently explained, Sima Changfeng listened, utterly engrossed. At the same time, his heart was filled with shock. A frog in a well, a frog in a well. Now it seems, I, Sima Changfeng, am no different from a frog in a well. After listening to Duan Lingtian's explanation, Sima Changfeng let out a long sigh, his face filled with self-mockery. It should be said that more than 99% of the people on our Yunxiao continent are frogs in a well, including my former self. Duan Lingtian said with a bitter smile, "Teacher, I've returned this time mainly to ask if you're interested in going to the overseas Holy Island. Once there, with the superior cultivation environment and my help, your strength will definitely improve rapidly." Duan Lingtian's tone was full of temptation. At the very least, you can break through to the Martial Emperor realm. Even breakthrough to the Martial God realm is not entirely impossible. Martial Emperor realm? Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Sima Chongfeng's breathing quickened. Can I do it? Why not? Don't forget, you are my, Duan Lingtian's, teacher. Duan Lingtian smiled confidently and said, if it were another person, he wouldn't dare to be so certain. However, Sima Chongfeng himself possessed extremely high talent and comprehension ability. With his help, breakthrough to the Martial Emperor realm would not be difficult. The Martial God realm was also not impossible. A bit lacking in talent? No problem. In the reincarnation Martial Emperor's memories, there was a record of the location of a 10,000-year stalactite milk. Once he went there and collected the 10,000-year stalactite milk liquid, it would allow Sima Chongfeng to undergo a complete transformation, giving him the ultimate talent of a Yunshao continent martial artist. A bit lacking in comprehension ability? No problem either. Intent fragments. Profound truth fragments. There were plenty. Good. I'll go with you. Sima Chongfeng's face was full of smiles, and he said somewhat excitedly, in my life, I, Sima Chongfeng, have been devoted to the martial Tao, never marrying and living alone. If my cultivation could break through to the Martial Emperor realm, it would not have been in vain. Sima Chongfeng, with no worries or attachments, agreed to leave with Duan Lingtian in just a few words. As for the others, they all had attachments to varying degrees. This also led to Duan Lingtian arriving with 3 people and leaving with only 4, adding only 1 person. This extra person was precisely Sima Chongfeng. As for those who were unwilling to leave, Duan Lingtian respected their choices. He would return to see them when he had time in the future. By then, if they wanted to leave, he would take them. After leaving the Qishao Kingdom, Duan Lingtian and his group arrived above a secluded mountain forest in the Qinglin Imperial Kingdom. A moment later, led by Duan Lingtian, here, Li Fei, and Sima Chongfeng descended. When the 3 of them stood on solid ground and looked closely, they were completely stunned. This was all because they saw the huge sword character on the mountain wall in front of the valley and were drawn to it as if their souls had been hooked. The massive sword character, written in a single stroke, was precisely carved by the sword saint, Feng Qingyang. This sword character contained Feng Qingyang's insights into the Tao of the sword. It was precisely because of the superficial understanding of this sword character that Duan Lingtian successfully comprehended the 9th-level Emperor Realm sword profundity in a very short time. The 9th-level Emperor Realm Profound Truth was also the peak Profound Truth. Lingtian Kid. Suddenly, a familiar voice entered Duan Lingtian's ears. Uncle Feng. Duan Lingtian looked at the red-robed middle-aged man, who had been sitting cross-legged, cultivating, but was now startled awake, and greeted him with a slight smile. The red-robed middle-aged man was none other than Feng Wudao. He was also Feng Tianwu's father. Feng Wudao stood up and immediately went to Duan Lingtian's side, looking at Kier, Li Fei, and Sima Chongfeng, with a hint of confusion in his brows. Uncle Feng, she are my fiancés, whom I mentioned to you before. As for him, he is my teacher from my hometown. Duan Lingtian introduced with a smile. Feng Wudao nodded, then carefully scrutinized Kier and Li Fei. When he saw the peerless beauty of the 2 women, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Neither of the 2 women, in terms of looks, was inferior to his daughter, Feng Tianwu. Lingtian Kid, where is Tianwu? Didn't she come back with you? Feng Wudao asked. Hearing Feng Wudao mention Tianwu, a look of guilt appeared on Duan Lingtian's face. Uncle Feng, I'm sorry. I didn't take good care of Tianwu. What happened to Tianwu? Seeing Duan Lingtian's guilty expression and apology, Feng Wudao had a premonition of misfortune, and his face changed dramatically. At the same time, his red robe involuntarily swayed, and his vital qi surged into the sky, transforming into sword-shaped flames, emitting waves of sharp aura, as if it could break through everything. Uncle Feng, don't worry, Tianwu is fine. Duan Lingtian quickly replied. He could tell that Feng Wudao had misunderstood. Hearing Duan Lingtian say that, Feng Wudao's expression softened, and the sword-shaped flames on his body also retracted. Then what did you mean earlier? Uncle Feng, I said I didn't take good care of Tianwu, because... Duan Lingtian interrupted Feng Wudao and recounted everything that happened afterward, except for concealing the fact that the demon sealing steel was a super sacred artifact famous on the Tao Martial Holy Land's top 10 sacred artifact ranking. He did not hide anything else, telling everything without reservation. For a time, Feng Wudao also learned of Feng Tianwu's experiences, knowing that Feng Tianwu had been taken in by a power from the Dao Martial Holy Land. During this period, Duan Lingtian also explained the Dao Martial Holy Land to Feng Wudao, which also shocked Feng Wudao, making him feel like a frog in a well. Knowing that Feng Tianwu was safe and sound, Feng Wudao breathed a sigh of relief. Uncle Feng, after some time, when I've arranged matters on the Yunxiao continent, I will go to the Dao Martial Holy Land. At that time, I will search for Tianwu as well. Duan Lingtian said to Feng Wudao. So, Uncle Feng, you can rest assured, I will definitely find Tianwu. Towards the end, Duan Lingtian was full of vows. Don't worry, as long as Tianwu is fine, she will come back to report her safety sooner or later. Feng Wudao said. Duan Lingtian nodded. Uncle Feng, where's Eru? Duan Lingtian looked around, didn't see a sixth person, and couldn't help but ask Feng Wudao. Eru was the child from Xiongquan's village. He was also the only person in Xiongquan's village who knew the secret of this place. That kid Eru is always out adventuring. Now, not only in the Qinglin Imperial Kingdom, but even within the Blackstone Empire's territory, he's already considered a notable figure. Feng Wudao smiled. The sword Dao insights contained within the character sword captivated Kuer, Li Fei, and Sima Changfeng, leaving them completely engrossed and immersed. Above the canyon, on a lush green tree, an inconspicuous small pagoda stood on a branch. This small pagoda was precisely Duan Lingtian's Seven Treasures exquisite pagoda. At some point, Duan Lingtian, who had been cultivating on the first floor of the Seven Treasures exquisite pagoda, woke up. During this time, he had been quietly comprehending the fusion profundity. He had tried to look at the sword character in the canyon during this period, but the same situation as before did not occur. The sword character no longer extended obscure and difficult to understand information into his mind, so there was no need to store the sword Dao insights originating from the sword character. Could it be because I've already comprehended the 9th level Emperor Realm sword profundity? No, that's not right. According to Sword Saint Feng Qingyang's message, if anyone could fully comprehend the sword Dao insights contained within the sword character he carved, they would be able to traverse the Dao Martial Saint land unhindered. After persisting for several days, Duan Lingtian couldn't find the reason, and in the end, he could only give up and focus on comprehending the fusion profundity. Over 4 months, Duan Lingtian's fusion profundity broke through twice. The first time, it broke through from 8th level Imperial Realm fusion profundity to 9th level Imperial Realm fusion profundity. The 9th level Imperial Realm fusion profundity was comparable to an ordinary 9th level Emperor Realm profundity, and once activated, its power was equivalent to that of 10 ancient horned dragons. The second time, the 9th level Imperial Realm fusion profundity advanced further, breaking through to 1st level Emperor Realm fusion profundity, and its power was exactly double what it was before. It was comparable to the power of 20 ancient horned dragons. The 1st level Emperor Realm fusion profundity I comprehended is 10 times that of an ordinary 1st level Emperor Realm profundity. When I comprehend the 9th level Emperor Realm fusion profundity, it should also be 10 times that of an ordinary 9th level Emperor Realm profundity. An ordinary 9th level Emperor Realm profundity is comparable to the power of 10 ancient horned dragons, like Duan Lingtian's 9th level Emperor Realm sword profundity, for example. However, once Duan Lingtian comprehends the 9th level Emperor Realm fusion profundity, the power it contains will be comparable to that of 100 ancient horned dragons. 100 horned dragons worth of power. What kind of concept is that? Even a peak martial Emperor Realm expert, using a royal grade spirit weapon and exerting their full power, if their strength can be compared to 60 or 70 ancient horned dragons, it's already considered astonishing. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's heart trembled violently. And once I comprehend the 9th level Emperor Realm fusion profundity, just by using the fusion profundity, without any other power, I would be able to easily instantly kill any existence at the peak of the martial Emperor Realm. At this thought, Duan Lingtian's breathing quickened. To instantly kill a peak martial Emperor Realm expert who is exerting their full power without reservation, using only one type of profundity, just thinking about such a scene made even Duan Lingtian himself feel a little numb. However, I've only just comprehended the first-level Emperor Realm Fusion Profundity. I'm still far from comprehending the 9th-level Emperor Realm Fusion Profundity. Duan Lingtian quickly calmed down. However, he didn't stay calm for too long, because he thought of another matter. If I use the 9th-level Emperor Realm Fusion Profundity to integrate into my body and open up Saint Veins, the effect would definitely be excellent. I wonder how many Saint Veins I'll be able to open up when I break through to the Transcendence Realm. I'm really looking forward to it. Duan Lingtian still remembered what Xue Nai had told him back then. According to Xue Nai, martial cultivators and Dao cultivators from the mortal continent have a much stronger foundation than the indigenous people of the Dao martial saint land. Their cultivation can be described as a precipitation of years, and when they break through to the Transcendence Realm, their accumulated strength will erupt uncontrollably. For months, Duan Lingtian asked Old Hua, and when he learned that he had been cultivating for 4 months, he couldn't help but wake up with a start. It's been that long? Kuer and little Feier must have woken up by now. 4 months inside the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda, 2 months outside. Seeing Duan Lingtian anxiously stand up, Old Hua, who was sitting cross-legged not far away, reminded him. I almost forgot. Duan Lingtian smiled awkwardly. He had just remembered that the time inside the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda was different from the time outside. 2 days inside equaled 1 day outside. Thinking of the 2 girls, Duan Lingtian, with a thought, left the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda. When he found that Kuer, Li Fei, and Sima Changfeng showed no signs of waking up, Duan Lingtian shook his head. Given their current state, I'm afraid we'll have to wait a while longer. He glanced at the side of the canyon again, and seeing Feng Wudao cultivating with his eyes closed, Duan Lingtian didn't disturb him and returned to the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda on his own. Old Hua, wake me up in half a year. Duan Lingtian greeted Old Hua, then sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. From his observation just now, Duan Lingtian could tell that the 2 girls would still need some time to wake up, and their waking up after a period of time would only be their first awakening. He had already told them, after their first awakening, they should familiarize themselves with the benefits this sword character brought them, and then they could begin to accumulate the sword Dao insights contained within the sword character in their minds. Then they could take their time to comprehend it later, just like he did before. He would only take them away when their minds were filled with the sword Dao insights originating from the sword character. Sima Changfeng was the same. He had been informed in advance. Therefore, according to Duan Lingtian's estimation, the 3 of them would need at least several more months to complete these 2 steps. Duan Lingtian was engrossed in his cultivation, fully dedicating himself to comprehending the fusion profundity. In his hand, 1 Emperor Realm natural profundity fragment after another was rapidly consumed. Every 10 days to half a month, an Emperor Realm profundity fragment would shatter into pieces. If an outsider were to witness this scene, they would undoubtedly feel heartbroken and even call Duan Lingtian a prodigal. However, for Duan Lingtian, it was nothing. Back then, on Half Moon Island, the former island master of Half Moon Island, Diyong, used a demonic art to absorb the vital essence of 85 strong adult experts, turning them into mummified corpses. Among those 85 strong adult experts, a small portion had cultivated Emperor Realm profundity fragments. After their deaths, the profundity fragments within their bodies came into Duan Lingtian's hands. Therefore, Duan Lingtian could afford this kind of consumption. If it were someone else, they would probably have a headache. The path of comprehending the fusion profundity was like a bottomless pit. Emperor Realm natural profundity fragments, at first, shattered 1 every half a month. Then it became 1 every 10 days. Later, it became 1 every 7 or 8 days. Then 1 every 5 or 6 days. Just as the Emperor Realm natural profundity fragment was shattering 1 every 3 days. Old Hua woke Duan Lingtian up. Has half a year passed so quickly? Duan Lingtian came to his senses, his face showing surprise. To him, it felt as if only a few days had passed. 3 months have passed outside. Old Hua reminded him. 3 months should be about enough. Duan Lingtian smiled, and once again left the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda. After leaving this time, he miniaturized the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda and tucked it into his ear, then descended through the air. He was in a good mood. After half a year of comprehension, His fusion profundity had advanced 2 more steps. Now, he had successfully comprehended the 3rd-level Emperor Realm fusion profundity. They're about to wake up. Looking at Kuer, Li Fei, and Sima Changfeng, Duan Lingtian, as someone who had gone through it, could easily tell that their minds were almost filled with the Sword Dao insights from the sword character. Whoosh! Duan Lingtian stepped on the void, and silent air currents swept out, followed by his entire body shooting up into the sky like a rocket. Upon reaching an unknown height, a 5-colored flame suddenly erupted from Duan Lingtian, emitting waves of majestic and vast aura. It was precisely the fusion profundity. As the 5-colored flames ascended, above the void of Duan Lingtian's head, the power of heaven and earth surged, emitting rumbling sounds like muffled thunder. Not long after, the heaven and earth phenomenon took shape. A total of 40 ancient horned dragon phantoms coiled down, lifelike, and with an imposing aura. With the power I can display now, even without using Saint-grade martial arts, I can easily defeat any peak martial Emperor Realm expert who hasn't cultivated Saint-grade martial arts. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he thought. If I use Saint-grade martial arts below the Transcendence Realm, I am almost invincible. Duan Lingtian was quite confident about this point. Of course, Duan Lingtian spoke conservatively, only saying almost invincible. In his opinion, unless it was a peak martial Emperor Realm expert who had cultivated the moves of human-grade high-ranked Saint-grade martial arts to an extremely high level, otherwise, they would not be his match. And a peak martial Emperor Realm expert who met this condition was almost impossible to find. What a magical world. No, it should be said, what a magical planet. Only on the Cloud Continent and its surrounding sea areas can the power of heaven and earth condense into a heaven and earth phenomenon. Stepping out of the Cloud Continent's surrounding areas, reaching the overseas, no matter how strong one's power is, it will not trigger the power of heaven and earth to condense into a heaven and earth phenomenon. Duan Lingtian sighed, putting everything else aside. This one point alone he found very magical, just as Duan Lingtian had expected. A few days later, Kuer, Little Fei, and Sima Changfeng successively woke up. Their strength had improved to varying degrees. At this point, Duan Lingtian was also ready to take them away, back to the inner land of the Cloud Continent, back to the new base of the Lingtian sect. Duan Lingtian had only heard from Xuan Nai where the new base was. He himself had not yet been there. Uncle Feng, you should come with us too. Duan Lingtian greeted Feng Wudao. For the next period, I plan to relocate the Lingtian sect to the overseas Holy Island, Half Moon Island. The cultivation environment there is better. Feng Wudao had previously heard about Duan Lingtian's achievements in the inner land of the Cloud Continent, and he also knew that the cultivation environment on Half Moon Island was very good. Therefore, he agreed to leave with Duan Lingtian. However, if I leave, who will guard this canyon? Who isn't here either? Feng Wudao asked. That won't be necessary, Uncle Feng, Duan Lingtian said with a smile. Under Feng Wudao's puzzled gaze, Duan Lingtian, hovering in the sky above the canyon, set up an inscription array that enveloped the entire ravine. Duan Lingtian was now a 9th-level martial emperor, and his mental energy had likewise reached the 9th level of the martial emperor realm. An inscription array woven with such power was naturally formidable. Most importantly, he placed 10 saint stones inside the array as its energy source. Unless someone surpasses the 7th level of the martial emperor realm, no one will be able to break this array. After completing the array, Duan Lingtian murmured to himself, "No way." This was an inscription array fueled by 10 saint stones. What are saint stones? A treasure that lets martial emperor experts rapidly advance their cultivation, similar to origin stones, yet far beyond them in value. Duan Lingtian's generosity wasn't because, as island master of Half Moon Island, he periodically received saint stones from the island's top-grade origin stone mine. It was because Xuan Nai had given him plenty of saint stones. According to her, in Dao Martial Holy Land, saint stones are common. Of course, common doesn't mean easy to obtain. Mortal realm martial cultivators or Dao cultivators without backing would struggle to get even one. With a powerful force behind her, Xuan Nai naturally had quite a stockpile. She had handed him over 1,000 pieces, all of higher quality than those he already possessed. Thus, spending 10 saint stones on an array didn't even make him blink. In earth terms from his past life, He was simply rich and willful. Once the array was set, Duan Lingtian's group left the canyon. A party of 4 became a party of 5, letting the others cultivate on their own. Duan Lingtian led them north, soon exiting Qinglin Imperial Kingdom and entering Blackstone Empire, then continuing north into Great Han Dynasty. Upon arrival, he paid a visit to the imperial capital. He had wanted to ask Zhang Shouyong if he'd like to leave with him, but when he reached the Zhang estate, he was told the couple had departed the capital the previous year. I wonder where big brother Zhang has gone. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. He would always feel gratitude toward Zhang Shouyong for nothing else than the life-saving favor of those years. That debt of kindness remained unforgettable. I'll have to check again next time. For now, off to Blade Sword Sect. With a thought, he made his decision. Blade Sword Sect, a third-rate force south of Northern Desert region, was the sect his childhood friend Su Li had joined. He was heading there precisely for Su Li. Yet upon arrival he learned that, right after his own departure years ago, Su Li had left with Sword 13. Why didn't they come looking for me? Recalling the unpleasantness back then and the promises he'd made to Su Li and his master, Duan Lingtian gave a wry smile. Su Li and Sword 13, like Zhang Shouyong, had vanished without a trace. Thus, he could only escort the 4 back to the inland of Yunxiao continent. I spent 10 months inside the 7 Treasures exquisite pagoda. Outside, 5 months passed. Counting everything, I've been back on Yunxiao continent exactly half a year. Reaching the inland, he mused, half a year. I wonder how much of the material they've found. The materials he needed were for repairing the pagoda's second layer. Mobilizing most of Yunxiao's humans and Yao beasts for half a year, he was eager to see the results. Even escorting 6 people, Duan Lingtian quickly reached Lingtian sect's new headquarters. Originally, he had been escorting 4, but when passing the sect's original site, he picked up Xiong Quan and Golden Fiend. The pair had refused to leave before, wanting to wait for his return. Now that he was back, they gladly joined him. When the 7 of them arrived, Han Shuanai, Little Gold, Little Black, and Little White had already returned. Half a year was more than enough to finish the tasks he'd assigned. Seeing the sect's new surroundings, Duan Lingtian's heart trembled. After a long silence, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Beneath Lingtian's sect's new grounds lay a rich, high-grade origin stone vein. Across Yunxiao continent, such a cultivation environment ranked among the best. Only the 2 ancient clans' estates surpassed it, and beneath their estates were top-grade origin stone veins. Sect Master Duan Lingtian had barely returned before Han Shuanai ordered every high-ranking member and disciple of the 7-star sword sect stationed there to assemble and pay their respects to Duan Lingtian, the true sect master of Lingtian's sect. She was merely the acting sect master. Now that Duan Lingtian was back, she handed Lingtian's sect back to him. Zhang San, Luo Ping, and the rest of you, long time no see. Duan Lingtian smiled at the familiar faces before him. Apart from the former vice sect masters Zhang San and Luo Ping, he also recognized young Marshal Chun, Lu Bai, and the Nangong brothers. Sect master, seeing Duan Lingtian again, both Zhang San and Luo Ping were visibly moved. Young Marshal Chun and Lu Bai were no less stirred, each overwhelmed with excitement. Though they had long heard from the Nangong brothers that Duan Lingtian was safe, seeing him unharmed still set their hearts racing. Duan Lingtian wasn't surprised to see only a handful of familiar faces. Shuanai had already told him what had happened. Back then, when Han Jing of the Han clan descended upon Lingtian's sect, the sect had stood on the brink of annihilation before his overwhelming power. At that time, apart from these few loyal faces, everyone else had defected. You must be Li Si. Duan Lingtian glanced at the unfamiliar face beside Zhang San and could easily guess the man's identity. Li Si was the only one who, shortly after joining Lingtian's sect, chose not to desert when the sect seemed doomed. He was also Zhang San's friend. Sect Master, Li Si's face lit up when Duan Lingtian greeted him, certain now that his decision back then had been wise. Sometimes fearlessness in the face of death can be a good thing. After ordering the assembled elders and disciples to disperse, Duan Lingtian turned to Han Shuanai. Shuanai, how many of the materials I requested have been found? A great many. Han Shuanai smiled and handed him a storage ring. Everything turned in is inside. Right now, whether human or Yao, they've practically turned the inland of Yunxiao continent upside down to find materials for you, Brother Lingtian. More shipments will keep arriving. She rattled it all off in one breath. Duan Lingtian's eyes shone at the news. Just as he had expected, the Yao beasts of Yunshao continent were the most diligent in submitting materials. In this regard, they enjoyed a natural advantage. Duan Lingtian was more than satisfied. After sending the materials into the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda and placing them in Elder Hua's hands, Duan Lingtian left Lingtian's sect to meet the savageless demon emperor. This is what you've earned. He gave the savageless demon emperor a saint stone. As long as you don't lose enthusiasm and those Yao beasts keep collecting materials, I'll continue to reward you accordingly. Before departing, Duan Lingtian spoke those meaningful words to the savageless demon emperor. The demon emperor's eyes blazed at the promise. Clutching the saint stone, he began issuing a fresh torrent of orders to his personal disciples, further mobilizing the Yao beasts of the inland to hunt for the materials Duan Lingtian required. To that end, he even made a pledge. Any Yao beast that turned in large amounts of materials, regardless of cultivation, could become one of his followers. Though merely the lowest-ranking followers under the savageless demon emperor, countless Yao beasts still scrambled for the chance. Soon the frenzy spread beyond the inland to the outer lands as well. Apart from the Yao beasts, many human martial cultivators also contributed a considerable haul. For the next spell of time, Duan Lingtian stayed inside the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda, devoting himself to comprehending the fusion profundity. His mastery of it improved every moment. Seated on either side of him were Kier and Li Fei, lending the scene a touch of serenity. A few days earlier, eager to raise the 2 girls' strength as fast as possible, he had revealed the pagoda's wonders to them and brought them inside. The marvel of the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda left the 2 stunned for half a day before they finally calmed down. To them, the pagoda was simply mind-blowing. They were not like Duan Lingtian. In his previous life, he had heard countless ancient myths and legends and had long known of the immortal family's supreme treasure, the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. So when he first learned of its abilities, he had quickly regained his composure. Once Kier and Little Feier advance a bit further and the pagoda's 2nd level is repaired, I'll take them to the Dao martial Holy Land. That was Duan Lingtian's plan, and the very reason he had brought the 2 girls inside to cultivate. While the girls trained, Duan Lingtian spent his remaining time ferrying in an endless stream of materials, delivering them into the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda and into Elder Hua's keeping.